and welcome to what I'm hoping is going to be a very interesting series and a very lengthy list of videos that I hope a lot of people will come to enjoy and find interesting in the same way that I think it'll be interesting, and the same way that I think it is interesting. So what are we looking at right here? This is the Top Gear test track. And what I want to do over the course of, I have no idea how long this will take. I want to make a gigantic Google Maps file of every single filming location, every single road trip route that Clarkson, Hammond, and May did while they were filming Top Gear. Now, specifically Top Gear UK, I would like to just do seasons 1 through, what is it? Is it 21? I'll have to look in, I forget how many years they did, or how many seasons specifically they did. But in those, however many seasons that they did for Top Gear, they went to so many different locations on Earth. They did so many different road trips. I want one gigantic Google Maps file that has every single route that they took. Like, it'll have a bunch of lines all over it. It'll have a bunch of pinpoints and a bunch of dots of all the different locations that they filmed stuff. So, for instance, their road trip in Botswana, I want to have the, more or less, I should say, the route that they took whenever they were driving in Botswana. If Clarkson, for instance, if he test drives the Nissan Skyline GTR in Japan, I want to find the specific racetrack that he tested it at. I want to find it on the map. I want to put a little pinpoint. And on top of that, like, for instance, there's one season, I think it's like season 12 or season 13, where they do a couple of different things in Japan. I think they all went to Japan when they filmed. They did their big road trip race where it was Clarkson in the Skyline GTR, and he raced against Hammond and May, who were in they were on the bullet train. And so, like, I want to map out the route that Clarkson took to the best of my abilities. It's going to be pretty difficult to do it exactly the correct way. But I have a plan as far as how I'm going to do that. And then, for instance, like I said, they were in Japan. They did that. And then, like, I think May tested something. I think Hammond looked at something at the Honda factory. And then, of course, Clarkson power tested the GTR. So I would find, like, the route that he took in the race. And on top of that, I would go find the racetrack that he tested the GTR at and pinpoint that. And I want to see, like, a gigantic map of the whole world and all the different little points, all the different little routes and stuff that the trio took while they were filming the show. So this is home base pretty much. This is going to be home base. This is the Top Gear test track, and I figured I would just quickly go through this first, simply because I've been going through and watching the first season. I'm on episode 5 now. I'm actually working on episode 5 right now. So obviously they start at the Top Gear test track, and if you didn't know, if you weren't aware, that the Top Gear test track is what is this? This is called, I think it's just called the Dunsfold. Not airport. It's an abandoned airport. I think it's just the Dunsfold, like, airstrip, but I mean, it's abandoned, so it's not. It wasn't used as an airstrip. But immediately you can see a couple of planes here, which, if you remember, whenever they're testing stuff when they're like testing cars at the Top Gear test track, or whenever Stig is driving one of the cars through the Top Gear test track route, you could always see planes in the background. Well, that's these. They're still there. Well, I mean, this is as of, what is this as of? This is as of, I don't know if you can see down there, but this is as of May of 2024. So May 2024, there are still planes on this airstrip, and it looks to be pretty unused as far as I can tell. But what I think is really cool is you can still see the markings that they used whenever they were, like, for instance, whenever Stig was doing his power tests or his power laps, I should say, and whenever the trio would test things here. So I want to kind of quickly go through this. This is the route that they would took, that Stig would take specifically, whenever he was doing the power lap for any type of, any of the supercars or any of the exotic cars. So here's the starting line. They would start right here, and they would set off and come down this line, down through this curve, and then this other curve. And the first big curve is right here. So they're coming around through here. They got a big left-hand turn here, and I believe they're supposed to stay on the outside of this line all the way down here until they get here, and they're gonna kind of cut back. And then there's always, if you remember, whenever they were filming, there was tires that there's one or two times when the car would drive by the tires. If you remember, there are points in Stig Power Lap where he'll drive pretty fast by tires, and it looks like, I don't know if these are tires, but this should be about the spot where the tires were. So either there are still tires there or there's something still there. But anyway, they would come down this line. They would go around here. I'm pretty sure they're supposed to go around the tires and then come around here, and then they race through down this long line, and they get to here, and then this is the famous hammerhead corner, which is supposed to test whether the car is understeering or oversteering. So they race down here, and they got to start slamming on their brakes around in this area, because they're going to make a hard left and then a very, very hard right and go all the way around here. And so this is where it gets the name hammerhead, because it looks like half of a hammerhead shark's head. So they come around here, go around here, and then this is where the Stig will usually. This is where Clarkson, like in the first season, he does this a couple times. Clarkson likes to listen to the engine around this point of Stig's power lap, because he wants to hear if the Stig is flat out. So the Stig, obviously when you go around the hammerhead, the Stig is now flat out all the way through here, all the way through here. But then the test is always if the Stig was flat out around this corner, because he's going to go all the way down here. He's going to quickly get through here and make this long right-hand turn, but stay on the road. So it's always interesting to see which cars he's still flat out on, and which cars he lifts up on with the gas pedal. And Clarkson points that out in the first season. I think it's mostly based on like how much grip the car has. If it's got more grip, and if it's not handling too crazily, then I think usually he keeps his foot down throughout this entire part. But he races up here, and then you get through the follow through, which I'm sure a lot of you will remember. He had the name of this corner as the follow through. So we're coming down here, we're racing through. There's always a part where the camera is really close, like the camera is aimed at one point, and then the car comes zoom, like right past the camera, and it's always at the tires. And again, I think that's what these tires are right here. If those are tires, but that's about where they would be. So I can only assume that they are tires, even though that's crazy that the tires have been there this whole time. So it comes around the follow through, and then we're almost done. We've only got 2 more corners left. This one I believe was just dubbed second to last corner. Pretty standard, right? Second to last corner shows up right here, and the last corner, which famously got dubbed Gambon, the Gambon corner, is the last corner, and then across the line. So that is the route that Stig always took. I mean, ever since season 1, episode 1, it's this exact same route. And I can confirm that because, again, I'm watching season 1 right now. It's the exact same route throughout the entire show. And on top of that, it's the one that Stig uses in his power laps, and it's the one that the celebrities driving the reasonably priced car, it's the same one that they they do as well. So they have to take the exact same route. So and thank goodness they did that, by the way, because like it's great to be able to see the progression of cars getting faster throughout the show, because obviously the fastest cars in season 1 are not the fastest cars at the end of the show. So it's nice to see that. And on top of that, later on in the show, there are different people who, like there's like F1 drivers who they have like a separate F1 board, or like Lewis Hamilton and some other people, I forget all who, but or which all drivers, but like I think Daniel Ricciardo is on there, and then Stig is also on there, and they have like a separate like F1 drivers on their laps to see which one is the fastest of them. And again, they also take the exact same route on the test track. So that is the test track, and like I said, this is home base. This is going to be the home base, and it's interesting because this Dunsfold, I guess maybe it's called the Dunsfold Aerodrome. It's actually a lot bigger than just the test track because it covers up all this space. But the Top Gear test track is only this right here, this figure 8 right here. So it's interesting that they only made this the test track itself. But yeah, I mean that's the Top Gear test track. And I always like to keep everything with north of the top. Obviously, it just, I don't know. It's just so I can keep my bearings straight. It's more for me as opposed to just like to see it, see everything the way that it is. There was a recent YouTube video that May and Hammond did where they kind of talk about, like, they do a little bit of the behind the scenes. I think these are like mobile home type buildings right here. But apparently these were the quote-unquote Top Gear offices. So this is where they were kind of planning out stuff, and this is also where they would stay before they actually filmed the live portion of the show, which I believe was filmed here. I believe this is the warehouse where they actually filmed the live portion of the show with the live audience. So somewhere in here, and I don't know if it's there now. Oh no, there's like a Top Gear museum somewhere. We can maybe explore that in a later episode. There's a Top Gear museum where it just has like some of the cars, like I believe the Toyota, that the indestructible Toyota Hilux that they that two of them tested throughout a couple of episodes. I believe that's there. I think some of their amphibious cars are there. So I don't know if any of the actual cars are still here, but I believe this building right here, I don't know about this side, but I believe this portion of the building was the warehouse that they actually filmed the live portion of the show. I've already watched episode 1. I've already mapped out, there's one road test route that Clarkson takes, and there are, let's see, there's like 5 or 6 things, honestly. The first episode is actually pretty packed. But the episode starts, they introduce the studio, and then, crazily enough, the first car that they test is a Citroen Berlingo Multispace. Well, it looks like Multispace for me. Clarkson specifically calls it a Multispace. So I don't know how we would call that in the United States, because of course I'm American, so I'm gonna. This is another can of worms, if I'm being honest. But when it comes to saying car company names, there's so much disagreement there. I mean, Porsche, is it Porsche or Porsche? I know that in Germany, they actually call it Porsche. So does that mean that everybody else in the world should call it Porsche? And you might be thinking yes. To which I would say, okay, so Jaguar, we say Jaguar in the United States. Jaguar is a British company, and they pronounce it Jaguar. So does that mean that everybody in the world should call it Jaguar? Because I'm pretty sure if you don't have that type of English accent, you don't call it Jaguar. That's my question to people, I guess to people in the United States. Is it, are we supposed to say, and also BMW, right? Like BMW is a German company. So in Germany, they pronounce it BMW because they say as far as I know, they say the W letter, like the letter W, they pronounce it V. So since it's German and the Germans say BMW, should everybody else in the world say BMV? I mean, what's the deal there? Anyway, so yeah, the first car that Clarkson tests is the Citroen Berlingo Multispace. I'm gonna say Multispace because it looks like Multispace to me. And he tests it on the M20, and the M20. This is where I'm gonna really have to start learning my road, and I'm gonna have to start doing this fast. I'm gonna have to start learning my roads in Britain. Because the problem is he starts on the M20 and then there is no telling like where he starts at. Like he just kind of starts, whenever he starts testing it, he's on the M20. There's no indication of where. So I think the first thing I need to do is actually find the M20. Okay, so just going to show it to me. So here's the M20, and it's probably just going to pinpoint the middle of it. So since I don't know where exactly he starts, I'm just going to pinpoint it. I'm just going to pinpoint it somewhere in the middle. I'm thinking like right, basically where that little pinpoint was. So this is unofficially, we're just going to decide this is where he starts filming. It's probably not, but you know, that's what we're deciding. Okay, so we start here. Are we actually on the road? Yes, we are. And we're on the right side of the road, which, of course, in Britain is the left side. The correct side is the left side. Like going towards, because we're going to France, by the way. If you didn't watch the episode, we are headed towards France because he drives it on the M20 and he goes to the Channel Tunnel to France, and then we end at a store called EastEnders. And there's really only going to be one way to do this, so I think we can go ahead and, well, I guess we should. I put down that he technically films stuff and stops at the Channel Tunnel to France. So, I will at least concede that we can go to like right here. All right, see, that's what we want to see. Okay, so Clarkson is doing this Renault Espace. And again, this is very first episode, in fact, the very first segment of the first episode. And he gets to, he's driving, first of all, he's driving on the M20, like what we saw earlier. This is him driving on the M20. He keeps going and eventually gets to the Channel Tunnel where he's going to France. We've got that. We know that. He ends at this place, though. And I'll let this play for a second.
A cavernous boot. And I haven't finished yet, because if we open the tailgate, there's another overhead locker here for a further 10 kilograms of booze. So, let's shop.
Okay. So he comes to this, basically this giant liquor warehouse. And I'm trying to get to where you can actually see the name of the, okay, you see, it's right there, you see a little bit of it there. Let me let this play out for a little bit, real quick. Okay,
right,
there we
are
go.
at one
This is
of
what we want
those.
to see. So he ends up here at this place called EastEnders, right? And it took me about 10 to 15 minutes to find this. But I pegged it as 14 Rue Gustave Courbet. That's my best French. I can't really speak French. He's going to end up here at Calais. And we know that simply because he gets off the tunnel and then he stays there. He stays in the city. He stays in Calais. So my initial reaction was, okay, I'm looking for a place called East Enders. I couldn't find this, so this is what I did. I just Google searched, like keep the map where it's looking at Calais. Looked at East Enders, Calais. Look, I've already searched it, right? If you search this, you get this Calais wine superstore, which, I mean, this is clearly a warehouse, and this maybe looks like it could be it. Maybe this is it over here. Although, if you zoom in, if you do like the street view, this looks nothing like it. So, if you just search East Enders, Calais, this is what shows up, and this does not look at all like it. So I ended up just like Googling a bunch of just like East Enders, closed Calais, France, because I was thinking like, well, I'll just scour the internet, see what I can find. And I forgot if there was any other locations. I think there was one, but eventually I ended up at this address right here, which if you search this, it takes you to this right here. I think this is right, yeah. It takes you to this, and this is now called First Stop Calais. But if we zoom in and take a little look at this. All right, let's do this. Let's do Google Street View. Okay, let's get a better view. One more. Okay. It's hard to prove this. But look at this. All right, look at this building type. All right, you've got where it's like it's vertical, like the type of construction is vertical like this. The exact same as in this picture. And look at where it comes to a point up at the top, right? And again, in the original, it comes to a point. And look even more at this little overhang right here. It's got this specific type of support right here holding up this roof. Or holding up this flat, I guess, is what you call it. I'm not very good with architecture, I have to admit. That's more my wife. But look, you've got this same thing right here. This has to be this, right? And I thought I saw something else. Like, they must have cut out this door. Because this door did not exist there before. But there is this overhang. And the overhang is still right here. And I thought I saw... Oh, yeah, the bricks down here. So these bricks also match up. So if we... Let me see if I can find where you can see the bricks.
Calais hypermarket.
Yeah, this is it. Look at these bricks right here. These bricks at the bottom. And bricks at the bottom. So I'm pretty convinced that this is now the building where Clarkson... They did the first ever Talk Beer segment. And if you continue watching it, it basically ends right here. So... I am going to go ahead and put this in. I'm pretty sure this is it. Like, it has to be with these bricks, with the same type of support that we see here.
Market. Fact of the matter is, basically, I like it.
I mean, we'll look at it one more time. We'll take a look at the building.
Right, here we are at one of those Calais hypermarket cash and carry booze warehouse jobs and...
Oh, also... Yes, this confirms it. The building to the right, it has this like chimney stack or this exhaust stack. Look at that. Building to the right, the chimney exhaust stack. Let's see if we can, let me just go over there real quick. Look at that. You can even see it from the sky view. I mean, that is clearly that, right? Has to be. M20 02 Channel. Okay. Which is basically it, because he ends here. I think this is the first route that's actually used in a road test that we could actually follow along. And there it is. And so this is the first. This is the first one. Oh, look at that. All right, cool. They go back to the Top Gear test track and they test the Pagani Zonda F and the Lamborghini Murcielago. And they stay on the Top Gear test track for that. And after that, they do a segment where they try to get a Honda Civic Type R, a Mercedes CL55 AMG, and a TVR Tuscan S, all three to try to beat the speed camera. And the Civic and the Mercedes both fail, and then the TVR comes in and does it. And basically what it does is it doesn't like pass by like where the camera's aimed. It just makes the sensor miss it. Like the sensor doesn't catch it because it's going that fast. So the sensor does not see that there's a car there, and so it never takes a picture. But for both the Civic Type R and the Mercedes, it does sense it. They are going slow enough where it senses it and takes the picture. Now, if the TVR, it's not like it's going so fast that the camera wouldn't see it. It's just that the sensor missed it. So I thought that was interesting. They introduced the reasonably priced car, and Clarkson drives it with Hammond and Dawe. Dawe, by the way, is I'm sure you all already know this, but in the first season, James May is not in the first season. In the first season, it's a different guy, Jason Dawe, and I will talk about him more maybe later on, because I'm sure people just think like, oh, he's not James, so I don't like him. So far in season 1, like the stuff that he's presenting is not terrible. Like he talks about like the markets of cars, which is somewhat interesting. It would be interesting to hear like that type of rhetoric nowadays because it's so different. Like he talks about how like there's certain cars that you could have gotten, back in 2000. Was this 2003 or 2001? Shoot. Early 2000s back in Britain. There were certain cars that you could get brand new for less than £10,000, which in the United States, that's going to be like, I don't know, that's like $12,000, I believe. I believe. I could be wrong, but somewhere around there. Somewhere around $12,000. But still, I mean, less than $15,000. Imagine having a new car, like having the availability to buy a new car for less than $15,000. Wow. Crazy. Anyways, they introduced the Suzuki Liana. That's the first reasonably priced car. They have a star in it. I forgot who it was. I didn't write it down. And then Hammond, I think it's Hammond, test drives a Mazda Mazda6. And I wrote down unknown location because I do not know where he's testing this at. I'll pull it up just for a second.
Anyone outside of the Frimley Green Bowls Club, is it?
So I don't know where this is. This is the problem. So I'm going to keep this blank for right now. Because I watched this like through 3 times. I could never find like any type of landmark or sign or anything as far as telling me like where this, like there's a cobblestone fence here. But I mean, this is Britain. There's cobblestone bricks all over or cobblestone fences all over the place in Britain, right? So I don't know where this is. Like, I don't know if this is... Oh yeah, I even looked up heliport. Like, there's a helicopter there, so I was thinking maybe there's a heliport somewhere. I couldn't find anything, to be honest with you. So I'm going to keep this as unknown location, and I will kind of table it for now. The good news is there are tools I can use later on that will help me to figure out where things are. Like, for instance, there's a website where people have found like the exact places where they were actually filming stuff, but they don't like, and they've taken pictures from like snapshots from Google Maps and shown like this side by side, like the snapshot from Top Gear and then the like the actual location that they took the snapshot on their computer from Google Maps, like side by side. And that's great and all, but that website doesn't have anything until season 4. So I'm out of luck for seasons 1 through 3 as far as using that. There is also there's a subreddit where somebody started doing this, and I don't know if they have season 1 stuff in there, but they started mapping out the different locations that Top Gear used and the different routes, but they did not get far. They don't have every single one. Like, I think they just have a couple of the big ones, like Botswana, Bolivia, some of the stuff in Britain, and some of the stuff that, like, some of the road trips over like Europe as well. So yeah, I think that will do it. Thank you for watching.
Because the way that you are, and not the one we can see through. Is the real me the way they want to see me? Can I just be myself?